What up? It's your boy Corey B. So today it's another beautiful day here in Texas. Got the sun shining. It was storming and raining throughout the night off and on. And right now we just got this beautiful essence about the air. You know, I always love it right after it rains. It's real nice. It's a great time to be outside and just embrace the air. Um, so today, what I really want to talk to you about is just something that has kind of just been on my heart and a lot lately, as me and Kimberly are, you know, really just taking new strides in our life in multiple areas. Really, the thing is we tend to spend a lot of time talking about living life and not living life. Does that make sense? Um, Ultimately, you've got to have a plan. Whether it's in your business, it's your spiritual walk, it's your family, where you're going and what you're doing. You've got to have a plan. And in order to have a plan, I mean, ultimately, you've got to sit down and contemplate these things. You got to figure out, you know, what moves you're going to make, what direction you're going, where you want to be, where you want to end up, what, how you want things to unfold. You know, you've really got to like unfold all that, and you know, dig deep into what it is you want as a family unit. If you're a single person, this is something you can be thinking about on yourself. You know, a lot of times, I know I was guilty of it when I was younger and single, and I could have been better prepared for my life with Kimberly and my boys, and I could have made better choices when I was younger. So ultimately, just because you're single doesn't mean you can't start planning for the future and work towards where you're going. Um, we frequently find ourselves in our society um, just kind of going through the motions and living your life day to day and saying, it's like, you know, it's like, what is it that I got to do today? What is it that I want to do today? What is it that I want to do on Friday? You know, when's my next vacation? I mean, things like that. You're not really thinking about the grand scheme of things. And when you do, it's kind of like this, oh, well, I'm gonna have a house and I'm gonna have this car, and you know, I'll have this kind of retirement. And it's like, but like to make it concrete, you frequently that's overlooked. It's not really taken as seriously as it should be at a young enough age to really just make it a real viable, tangible thing that you know, okay, this is present, this is going to happen. No, it's like you start getting later in life and then you're like, okay, well, now I'm gonna make it real. It's like, no, man, you make it real early so that way later in life it's there. Later in life it's there. um, you see it all the time with, you know, like athletes. People get drafted and they get these huge contracts and stuff, and then before you know it, their career is over because an injury happens, or you know, they've been playing for 8 9 years, and you know, their body just starts to take a toll. One thing leads to another, and then they're no longer getting the high dollars that they were getting, but they got millions of dollars to sign in the first place, and they got nothing to show for it now. I mean, that in itself is just an idea. I mean, that's not the norm. That's like what, like I said, what you see on TV and these athletes and stuff. But that happens on a much smaller scale. I mean, they've got millions of dollars and can't figure it out. What about the people who are getting thousands of dollars and can't figure it out? So you really need to just take some steps to, you know, figure what it is you want and start putting it in place. And if you're already married, you've already got children, you've already got, you know, some of y'all are not married, or you're divorced, or unfortunately for some people they're a widow or whatever, at a young age, and that's so tragic and terrible, but it's a real thing. Some people are already in a position that they've already got family and they've already got things that they need to have these plans in place for, but it's not too late to start implementing them. It's not too late to start getting them in line. So I kind of want to start getting into some things like that. I'm going to start posting some new videos, so please stay tuned. And I'm going to post some things on my other platforms as well, on Instagram, as well as beingcoreybayless.com. I'm going to post some things about this as well, because it's something I really think that it's never too late to start planning. There's so many people out there that help you get into a better financial situation and better plans for your life, and that's what you really need to start implementing in your life, is just really figuring out where you want to be. Like I said, where do you want to live? Where do you want to go? What kind of a house do you want? What do you want for your children's future? What do you want for you and your husband, or you and your wife's future? Like, where is it that y'all are going, and how is it that you're going to get there? Once you know what you want, then you start putting in place the steps to get there. I see this a lot, because I look at my daughter and her husband. I see them, and they're trying to figure things out. They're such a young couple, though. I mean, they're such a young couple in their age, but not just their age, but in their relationship. I mean, and so I look at them saying, what steps could they be taking to get where they want to go, and where do they want to go? And that's the thing. It's like, when you're such a young couple, you're trying to figure out where you want to go. And I look at the boys, and me and Kimberly have just started kind of putting things in place already, because you look at your children, and you look at your past and the things that you've gone through and the things that you've had to face. You don't want your children to face those obstacles. You want to be able to provide something for them that's just going to make their life easier and more fruitful, and just put them in a better position for success. And that's what we're trying to do for the boys. We try to be there for Mariah and Mark, and my daughter and her husband. We try to be there for them, try to give them support and encouragement, and try to help direct them. But ultimately, she's married, they've got their life, and they make their own decisions. And that's something, that a lot of families have conflicts about as well. Just being able to know that fine line, that you love your family and you want what's best for them and you want to help them, but you don't be pushy with them, because they have their life to live and they have their path to take at this point. And with the boys, I just want to set them up for success. I want to help them from the time they're little and the time they're young, to be prepared to go into the workforce, to be prepared to take over the business if that's what they want to do, to be prepared to go to college and find their path if they don't want to follow in dad's footsteps, because they may not want to do what I want to do. They may want to go in the medical field like mom, and more power to them. My mom looked at Kimberly like she was a hero. My mom, she's not with us right now. She passed away a couple years ago, and I know that mom's looking down, and she's proud of Kimberly for everything Kimberly's doing. I wish she could be here to see. It's like a conflicting thing. It's like, I miss my mom and I want her here, but there's a part of me that's glad that she's not having to suffer through what the world's suffering through right now. And there's a part of me that I don't know how she would handle all this and take all this. I mean, she's a strong woman; she could handle anything. But I know this would sadden her and break her heart to see what everybody's going through right now. And but I know she'd look at Kimberly and she'd see Kimberly, caring for patients through all this, and witnessing Kimberly have her friends and staff members and patients being diagnosed with the COVID-19, and Kimberly staying strong and fighting through this on a daily basis. And I know mom would be so proud. Mom, like I said, mom always told Kimberly that she was a hero, and that if the boys chose to follow in Kimberly's footsteps, it would make me proud and Kimberly proud, and I know it would make mom proud. What Kimberly does is amazing, and whatever the boys are going to do, they're going to be great. They're going to be amazing at whatever they do. But I just want to set them up for success in the idea that I want to give them all the tools that they can possibly need to get where they want to go. I want to prepare them for the obstacles, prepare them for the confrontations, prepare them for failure, prepare them for success, prepare them for, all these things that they're going to face, the distractions, the chaos, the world. And I think that's it, is just being able to prepare ourselves and then pass that to our families, to our spouses, to build each other up and lift each other up, and to pass that to our children. And so, like I said, I'm going to be posting some more stuff. This is kind of just my introduction to this kind of my next direction in which I want to encourage and influence y'all to take the time out to really start planning for your future and start planning for tomorrow. I mean, not just planning what you're doing tomorrow, but literally, people think planning for the future. I think people have a misconception about it. I think a lot of times people think they need to be wealthy or successful already to start planning for the future. And I think people also have this conception that planning for the future means you're planning for like retirement. You're planning for 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. And that's great and that's fine. You definitely should be doing that. You should be taking time to plan for 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road, but you need to take time to plan for tomorrow, next year, next month, next week. Take some baby steps to really make that 10-year plan more viable, more attainable, and less of a stress and a burden. The old saying, we used to use it in math, when you would take these big, huge equations and you would say, how are you going to, get through this huge equation because there's so much happening. I remember I had a math professor, Omar. He was absolutely incredible, and he talked about taking when he got his master's in mathematics, and he had an equation that had 33 variables in it. Still to this day, that blows my mind. I would love to try to do something like that just for the sheer fun. But that was his final. That was his final for one of his classes for his master's, and he had to solve an equation with 33 variables. And somebody was like, "Well, how could you possibly do that?" And he's like, "Just like eating an elephant, one bite at a time." And it's I think that's ultimately how you've got to look towards your life and towards your plan and your goal, your future is one bite at a time. You've got to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 year, 1 month, take these baby steps to put things in place and really solidify what your future is going to be. Alright, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to leave y'all with that, and y'all just kind of let that marinate a little bit, and we're going to start diving into some more details and really expand upon the concept of your future and what that really means and what you really want to implement and how you want to, start growing and solidifying things and get yourself into a position reaching for success and reaching for all you can attain in your life. Alright, with that, I'm your boy Corey B. Make sure and hit that like button. Come on, give your boy some love. If y'all got questions, if y'all got some comments, leave them below. Y'all also know how to get to me. Y'all can message me on beingcoreybayless.com, on Instagram, or on Facebook. I'm all over the place. I'm wherever you want me to be. I'm being Corey B. Till next time, I'm out.